Hi, come in.
Hi.
Hi.
Jesse Giles with Salesforce.
Nice
so
to
good
see
to
you
see you again. So I know that last time we got to talk at the alumni tailgate, and we got to talk a little bit about Yeti and whatnot.
Yes.
So I'm really glad that you're here today to be able to talk to me about what I can possibly offer you guys at Salesforce. So if you don't mind, I'm going to give you my business card. It's going to have all my personal information in case you need to reach me outside of just my number.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like we've been able to talk through UGA stuff and whatnot, but I know that there's a lot more than just that Yeti has to offer. So if you don't mind, I know that your time's important. We only have 20 minutes, right? Okay.
Yes.
So I'm just going to go over a little bit of a soft agenda of what we're going to do today.
Okay.
If that's okay with you.
Perfect.
So the first thing I want to do is kind of see your role in the company and what you're really doing with Yeti, and then also kind of pinpoint the goals of Yeti and their customers and what they're really wanting with the CRM system, if that's possibly what you guys are looking for. And then I also kind of want to talk about what Salesforce has to offer and if it's really something that you guys are looking for and if we can apply it to what you guys really are going to need.
Okay, that all sounds great.
Awesome. So would you mind if I take notes?
No, of course not.
Okay, great. And finally, do you think there's anyone else that you'd really want to have here today as we move forward?
I think right now I'm calling the shots from the driver's seat, so we'll see how that one goes.
Awesome. So I guess some of the first things I want to ask is, what do you think you guys are looking for when it comes to customer relationships and your Salesforce?
Yeah, well, I know we mentioned a little bit at the tailgate just of our vision, of Yeti. We're already doing very well in the past few years, but we want to keep that customer loyalty and really work to impress our customers and obviously internally have a great culture and fit as well. So really outside and inside, just make sure that we're staying with our vision.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I'm a Yeti customer.
Love it. Love to hear.
So you guys have a customer base in me. But what is something that you think today you want to achieve, following closely to like what you guys believe as your core basis and your beliefs and what you guys want for customers? What's something today?
Yeah, I just think like them knowing what we stand for and our sales program and our sales process. So it's just really a one line. They know what they're getting when they come to Yeti. It's not just kind of jumbled and confused, but they really can know from start to finish what their sales process is looking like as a customer.
Okay. So right now, what is your current system that you guys have in place that's kind of applying that? So what all do you guys have that both your inside and outside sales teams are going to be using to get that information on the customers?
If I had to describe it, trying to think about it, doing it in a good way, it kind of is like watching chickens run with their heads cut off. It could be better. So we have the inside salespeople, they're more looking at the number side of it. Then you have your outside salespeople that are going out and literally talking to the customers, exactly. And then once they talk to the customers, they're using the Excel sheets, Word documents. I mean, maybe calling their mom on the phone, letting them about how their sales went. And then from there, the managers spend a good amount of time. They do the cleanup work, I would say. They make sure that all of the database from the inside and outside salespeople is all good, correct,
combining into one.
Exactly.
Okay. So I guess on that, it seems like there's a lot of data entry. You have it inside sales, outside sales, and also your manager. It seems like a lot of information on both the customers and on Yeti could be lost. Has that ever happened before?
I don't know of an exact time per se that it's happened, but I think it would be very naive of me to say that it hasn't happened. I know that we are humans and we do make mistakes, human error. So I would say that it has happened. I don't know an exact example.
Do you think that time has been lost, or how much time would you say your teams are spending about a day or a week on finding this information?
I would say at least an hour a day.
Okay.
Probably conservatively. I would probably say an hour a day.
So about 5 hours a week, possibly. And how many people are on this team doing the searching for the inside sales team and whatnot?
There's 50 on the inside and 50 on the outside, so 100 in total.
Cool. So I guess kind of one thing to move on from that is, all of this, has this impacted your company financially besides just those indirect hours being spent? Do you think that this could possibly lead to loss of revenue, or has it led to loss of revenue?
Again, I would say it would be naive to say that it hasn't. It's not something that I would like to admit to, but I would say about half to a whole % of loss from our revenue because of those errors.
Okay. So that's a pretty big percentage if you think about it. I mean, the percentage isn't big, but it's a big number.
Yeah, and I do agree with that.
Do you think that as your company grows that this number could increase? I mean, with more information, with the bigger customer base, you have to be putting in new stuff, so this number has the potential to grow, right?
Yeah, I think right now we'd probably like to say if it's not broken, you don't need to fix it.
Absolutely.
But as our numbers do increase, like you said, and just as we grow and we want to hit growth in the future again, it's inevitable that I think we will run into some issues and we might be a little too late in the game to fix those.
Okay.
So it could definitely become a bigger issue than it is right now.
Well, you're never too late in the game to fix anything, which is the good news, especially with such a great company. I know that you guys definitely have the talent to turn anything that you guys have as a possible problem around.
Well, thank you. That means a lot.
Moving away from the numbers of it, what is your teams able to see in respect to customers besides just the numbers? So do your inside sales team see the orders, or do they see the personal information and whatnot about those customers?
They don't. They stare at numbers for a while. You'd think they were coding, but they're really just looking at some sales numbers.
Okay.
They look at numbers quite often.
Okay. So there's no really personal information being able to go back and forth or anything like that along the lines?
No, only outside salespeople kind of get the personal information, but inside is just numbers.
Okay. I guess taking away the respect of customers when you're looking at that aspect of it, is there another system you guys possibly have in place where your teams can communicate about other work issues or any type of innovation within the company, or really to have a place where you guys can talk about work as a whole and Yeti as a company, or how do your teams communicate with each other?
I would say just kind of the simple text message. You pay for that monthly rate, and then if they have any issues, I've seen a few Facebook posts.
Oh, wow.
But not many that are, like, we don't have, I guess, one place that we can put in ideas or innovations. It's more just to each their own.
So if your inside sales team wants to talk to your outside sales team and vice versa, that's usually just through texting, or does it go through a certain person, or what?
The managers do a great amount of work, and they're the liaison really between all of their salespeople and making sure that database is fully correct.
Okay. How much time would you say that your manager is spending on communicating this data and whatnot?
I would say probably about $15 or 15 hours a week.
Okay, that's a lot for a manager. Okay. So I guess after that, I mean, your managers are communicating a lot with your sales reps. What all do they happen to know about what your sales reps are doing? Like, do they know what all they're talking to your customers about? How are they getting new leads? Do they know anything about that?
They don't know as much as they should. I think new leads and pipeline is just kind of coming out of luck.
Okay.
It's more if you kind of hit the jackpot, someone that wants to buy a few more Yetis and they buy them. But as for actual system to work on our pipeline, we don't really have that at the moment.
I get that. So it seems that your managers are really the only people talking to your sales rep. Is there any way that they're able to monitor the sales rep's productivity to see if there's loss of sales or gain of sales?
No, it's more just commission. Like, if a salesperson kind of has a problem with their commission, you would assume they're not really hitting their sales numbers. But as for a system, we're pretty in the dark.
So you guys aren't really able to see which your problem spots are and which areas you could really improve in?
Not so much.
Okay. Do you think that any information's really been lost, or anything's really not been available to you guys that has caused problems like this? Or the loss of information has caused problems like this?
Yeah, I think that is a place that we could say that it's caused a few problems. There has been most likely loss of information. So, problems are being created through that.
Okay. Well, just to reiterate, I think what we've all touched on the past about 10 minutes, a lot of things that seem to be the main points of problems are lack of communication, and then not being able to understand the customers and what the sales reps are really seeing as the customers. And then besides that, it's going to be tracking your sales reps and the information that they have available, and just making sure that that gets back to your inside sales team. And this seems to really be causing a lot of indirect costs to you guys, and a lot of not wasted hours, but hours being used almost inefficiently.
Yeah, I'll agree with all of that.
Okay.
That's very true.
So I think something that Salesforce could possibly offer you guys is a solution to this, if you're willing to listen and whatnot, if you want to see. So I definitely think that we could help Yeti put your values back on the front of the company and help people really see what you guys have to offer, as well as what you guys really stand for if you want to see that.
Be great to see. I'd love to.
So if you don't mind, I'm going to get on this side of the table and show you everything. Okay, great.
Sorry, my office is a little small.
Absolutely. But you know, mine's not a lot bigger than this. So one thing that we're going to look at is the first thing here is going to be the home screen.
Okay.
And this home screen is going to be available to any member of your teams that have Salesforce.
Okay.
So I guess the first thing you can look at is if you go here, up into this top corner.
Wait, click right there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Type in any customer you want.
We'll look up Rich Gooner.
Okay. So right here you can see that they have every information on him in the past. You have everything he's bought, what his order numbers are, what's improved, what hasn't improved, and you also have all of his feedback that he's given his outside sales reps. Okay. So pretty much anyone on the inside sales team, the manager and the outside sales team, has access to this information. So you're really losing, I guess, you're gaining back that time that has been lost on putting in the data entry and whatnot. And then another thing is that you seem to be talking about the disconnect between outside sales and everybody else. One thing that you can see is on my mobile app, I have this same screen, obviously a lot smaller.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm going to look up the customer you talked about, and I'm going to put in some information about him. And if you watch, this is going to upload in real time.
Oh, so it literally just...
Absolutely.
That's amazing. Okay.
So your outside sales reps really don't have to go and waste time getting on a computer, and it doesn't have to go through your managers anymore. So they're gaining back that 15 hours a week, you said, communicating both customer data and personal data. Mm-hmm. So that seems to be something also... That's
really great. Wow.
It definitely is going to decrease a lot of that extra time that is going to be... It's going to help them move forward to help better your customer base, help create new leads. Something else, if you go right here...
Click right there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this is going to show you all the possible new leads. And I know in the past you mentioned that the way that you guys are getting new leads isn't very efficient. Mm-hmm. So here it's going to be a suggestion box for anyone, how to get new leads, what they're looking for, what's going to really help those people move along so they can become your customers. And you're also going to be helping them to the best ability.
That's really great.
So, and then one of the final things to look at is if you click over here.
Okay.
We talked about a lot of customer stuff and a lot of sales reps and whatnot, but there's going to be two things that this is what a manager is going to have. So from the manager, I'll pull it up on this side. You're going to have the manager screen, and I'll have a sales rep screen. Okay. So, or an inside sales team. What I'm going to do is you're going to have the management suggestion box. So what I can do is I can put in anything that I think you need to hear about, anything you need to know, and I'm going to put in here, and then you're going to be able to order it and how most important to least important to be able to fix this problem. So say I'm realizing that, hey, I think your sales rep could do a better job at this, then I can put in your suggestion box and it's going to go right to you, and then you're going to be able to discuss that with your sales rep right as it happens. And then another thing is that if you click right here, this is going to be kind of a collaboration. It's going to be a conference app. So here, everyone that has Salesforce is going to be able to contribute ideas and the better ways to better Yeti, both financially, sales, how to better customers. So really you're just going to have connection right there so that everyone feels like they're really tied into the office, and it's also going to allow a lot of creativity to flow freely.
Perfect. So they really, like you said, can have any idea,
absolutely,
complaint, concern.
So as we've talked about before, I mean, we're competitive people. We went to Georgia. So as you can see, if this will be the last thing, if you click on your sales reps.
Okay. Oh, I can't. Oh, this is a list of them right here. Okay.
So if you click on them, you're going to be able to see what they've been doing in the past month, and it's going to compare to the month before that. So you're going to see that this is where they've increased their sales, this is where they've decreased their sales. This could be a problem area, this could be an area of increase. Yeah. And so at the end of this, you're going to be able to compare all of these to the other sales reps so that you can really have a little bit of healthy competition. Absolutely. So at the end of the day, really this is going to be able to reinvent the engagement and relationships between your customers as well as all your teams. So I think this is really going to be able to tailor the best way to customers and also Yeti as a whole. But obviously, if you have any questions, like what are you thinking about this? How's it sounding?
The price tag is what I'm thinking about. It seems great, but
understandable.
I feel like there's so many benefits to it that there has to come at a high price.
If you don't mind, I'm going to move this.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So one thing I'm just going to kind of tie it back into the three things that we mentioned a little bit earlier. So you said that the inside sales team is probably spending about an hour a day, about 5 hours a week on just trying to gather this data and really put it in a system that's going to work best for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So you said that's 5 hours, there's 50 of you guys, and how much do you say that one of those hours is valued?
For a manager at about $100 an hour.
Okay. And so say we're going to do that 5 hours with 50 people and at $100 an hour. Total, that's going to be about $25,000 a week.
Wow.
And which is really going to equal to about a little over $1 million a year. And then you also said that this lack of communication and misinformation between the company has led to probably about, and human errors led to about a 1% issue of your total revenue. And while 1% is truly a small number, the overall cost is not. That's about $4.5 million. And then just to also talk about how, reiterating what you just mentioned, your managers are also spending a lot of their time and their valuable time, and that's going to be about $72 a year. So in total, the amount of time lost just because of miscommunication and a very almost inefficient, non-existent system has really led to indirect costs of about $5 million for you guys.
Wow, I did not realize it was that number.
So, and I know, what would you guys like to grow Yeti by this year?
About 5%.
So obviously you guys are trying to grow your revenue, and as your company grows, this indirect cost is also going to have the possibility to grow if the problem that you've mentioned isn't going to be stopped. So even though this seems like it's a high number, because it is, when you see that you can gain it back by only a small fraction of that in the cost, I think it really shows. So the cost of Salesforce is going to be a $25,000 startup fee, and then it's going to be $185 per employee per month. So how many employees? You guys mentioned 100?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so about 100 employees, so that's going to be about $18,500 a month. So your first month will be $43,000 roughly, and then it'll decrease down to $18,000. And we'll be there every step of the way. We'll be able to show you guys exactly how to set it up, how to get it working on the mobile apps, how to getting it working for the managers, as well as inside, outside sales team, just so you can really create that pipeline for customer information and really just improve Yeti moving forward.
Okay, this all sounds pretty good.
So do you think that Salesforce can really benefit you guys, and do you think this is something you would want moving forward?
I think I can see, obviously, you've shown me great benefits of it and how that Salesforce can really create value for us. So I think this is great. It is, again, a higher number than I could probably write a check for, but I really like the idea so far.
Absolutely. Well, I have a sales agreement, and I've already taken liberty to go ahead and sign it. And you said that you don't know if you can write a check, but how would you feel if I left you with a copy of this and a copy of what we covered today with all those numbers included?
That would be great. I was actually thinking about talking to our CFO, and I might give you a call next week just to set up another meeting. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely. How would you feel if we just set up a meeting and make sure that everyone can attend? Does that sound good?
Yeah.
So Wednesday at about 3, does that work for you?
Works pretty well. I think Absolutely. Our CFO is available as well, so that'll be great.
Great. So if you have any problems, you have my business card. Feel free to reach out to me. I have multiple copies of this, and just for any help, just let me know.
All right.
And I look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you so much, Jessie. I really appreciate it today.
Thank you so much for having me today.